There is a strange paradox in the world of personal finance. Some of the smartest, most hardworking people you will ever meet are completely broke. And it has nothing to do with how many coffees they buy or whether they cancel their streaming subscriptions. I was reading a fascinating study recently on behavioral economics, not for navigating modern financial markets. Because of this, we fall into these invisible psychological traps, habits that quietly destroy our wealth while making us feel like we are doing the right thing. If you feel like you are doing everything by the book, but still are not getting ahead, you might be suffering from what economists call the competence curse. Today, we are going to walk through the 7 counterintuitive psychological habits that are secretly draining your bank account and exactly how to reverse them. Chapter 1. The Mental Accounting Illusion. Have you ever received a tax refund or a birthday check and immediately treated yourself to a nice dinner simply because it felt like free money? This is a behavioral economics concept called mental accounting, and it is a silent wealth killer. Our brains love to categorize money based on where it came from. We treat our monthly salary with absolute respect, carefully budgeting it for rent and groceries. But when we get an unexpected bonus, we mentally toss it into a different bucket, a fun money bucket. The reality is that a dollar is a dollar. The grocery store does not care if the money came from your paycheck or a lucky lottery ticket. By treating unexpected income as disposable, we miss out on the most powerful wealth-building opportunities. The next time a random sum of money lands in your lap, let it sit in your account for 48 hours. Breaking the immediate emotional high helps you treat that cash with the respect it actually deserves. But even if you master your income, you might still be losing money by simply thinking too much. Chapter 2. The Action-Faking Trap. We live in a culture that worships research. If you want to buy a new index fund or open a savings account, it is so easy to spend 3 weeks building the perfect spreadsheet to compare interest rates. But this leads to a dangerous habit known as action faking. You feel incredibly productive because you are watching educational videos and reading financial reports, but you haven't actually moved a single dollar. You're confusing preparation with execution. Highly analytical people are the most vulnerable to this. They demand perfect information before making a decision, but financial markets are fundamentally uncertain. While you're agonizing over a 0.1% difference in fees, someone else just picked a good enough option and is already compounding their money. In the world of wealth, perfect is the enemy of profitable. You have to stop letting analysis paralysis mask itself as financial diligence. Pick a simple, boring, proven strategy and just start. The friction of starting is the only thing standing in your way. And speaking of ways we try to optimize our lives, we need to talk about the danger of buying back your time. Chapter 3. The Convenience Cascade. There's a growing trend of buying back your time. You order grocery delivery, pay for premium software, and take a cab instead of the train, all under the guise of increasing your efficiency. Buying convenience is a fantastic strategy, but only if you use that reclaimed time intentionally. The problem is what psychologists call the convenience cascade. We pay a premium to eliminate friction from our morning routine, but instead of using that saved hour to build a side income or get extra sleep, we just use it to scroll on our phones or pack more chaotic busy work into our day. You are bleeding money to buy peace, but you aren't actually experiencing any peace. If you're going to spend money to save time, you need a clear, measurable return on that investment. Otherwise, you aren't buying leverage, you're just subsidizing your own distraction. Treat your convenience spending like a business expense. It needs to show a positive return. If you're not tracking that return, you're probably falling victim to the power of default choices. Chapter 4. The Status Quo Bleed. Every single day, your brain makes thousands of decisions, and it gets physically tired. To protect you from absolute exhaustion, it relies heavily on the status quo bias. This is the quiet habit of simply keeping things exactly as they are because changing them requires too much cognitive effort. This is why you are still paying for a gym you haven't visited in 6 months, or why you keep your savings in an account earning 0 interest. The pain of researching a better option and filling out the paperwork feels much heavier than the invisible, slow leak of your current situation. Wealth is rarely destroyed in one massive, dramatic explosion. It's usually drained through 1,000 tiny, unexamined defaults. To fix this, you don't need a complete life overhaul. You just need to schedule a leak check once a quarter. Sit down with a warm cup of coffee, look at your recurring expenses with fresh eyes, and ruthlessly cut the defaults that no longer serve you. Sometimes, though, the problem isn't what we ignore, but what we actively choose to buy on a strict budget. Chapter 5. The Cheap Asset Fallacy. It feels highly logical to buy the cheapest version of whatever you need, whether it's a pair of shoes for work or a mattress. We're conditioned to look at the immediate price tag. But wealthy thinkers operate on a completely different metric. They look at the cost per use over time. Buying a $20 item that breaks in a month is infinitely more expensive than buying a $100 item that lasts for a decade. The cheap asset fallacy keeps people trapped in a cycle of constant replacement. You think you're saving money in the present moment, but you're actually guaranteeing future expenses. True financial clarity comes when you stop asking how much things cost right now and start asking what the long-term cost of ownership is. This subtle shift transforms you from a consumer into a long-term investor, even when you're just buying everyday household items. Quality is an upfront investment that pays silent dividends for years. However, all this beautiful logic completely falls apart the moment we feel threatened. Chapter 6. The amygdala hijack. Intelligence is a wonderful thing, but it's completely useless when your emotions take the wheel. When the stock market dips or a sudden financial emergency arises, your brain's risk assessment center, the amygdala, goes into overdrive. It interprets financial volatility the exact same way it interprets a physical threat. Your fight or flight response activates, and suddenly you're selling off your investments at the absolute worst possible time. What makes this so dangerous is that smart people use their intelligence to justify these emotional reactions. They build elaborate, logical arguments for why panicking is actually the smartest move. This is why simplicity is the ultimate superpower in wealth building. You need to create automated financial systems that operate entirely without your permission. When your money is automatically invested on the first of every month, you remove your emotional brain from the equation entirely. Activation acts as a firewall between your goals and your temporary fear-based impulses. But protecting yourself from fear is only half the battle. The real secret lies in how you treat someone you haven't even met yet. Chapter 7. The Future Self Disconnect. Perhaps the most profound trap of all is something called hyperbolic discounting. Studies show that when we imagine ourselves 10 or 20 years in the future, our brain actually lights up the exact same way as when we think about a complete stranger. We struggle to save money because biologically, it feels like we are giving our hard-earned cash away to someone else. Why would you sacrifice a nice dinner tonight for a stranger in the future? The secret to overcoming this is to bridge that empathy gap. You have to make your future self incredibly vivid and real to you. Visualize the exact life you want that older version of yourself to have. When you sit down to review your finances, imagine you're having a business meeting with that future person. By making that connection tangible, saving stops feeling like a restriction on your current happiness. Instead, it becomes a beautiful gift you are intentionally mailing to your future self.